Okay. So if you have a strap, have that somewhere within reach. Also, if you have a block where actually we might use the block towards the beginning. So maybe have your block somewhere within reach as well. Um, and you can either start lying down right away, or if you want, you can start in a seat. We'll kind of come into a bit of a breath work practice, and then we'll start our postures lying down in just a moment. But choose to start in either position. So you can find either a seat or a reclined position that feels good for you. Eyes can close down or find a soft gaze. And before changing anything about your breath, before changing anything about your body, take a moment to check in. Notice where you might be holding any of the emotions that have been showing up the past few days. Notice how your physical body can respond to your emotional body. And then take a moment or two to make any adjustments that will give you more comfort. So perhaps it's rolling the shoulders back, finding a little bit of a side to side sway with the neck, making some space if you're lying down. Or maybe if you're used to sitting very upright and controlled, feeling more comfortable for you might be to actually soften a little bit. So take time to make any adjustments into a space that gives you a bit more physical comfort. And then once you find yourself in that space, take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale everything out with a soft sigh. And once more here, inhale fully. And exhale with a sigh. Allow your lips to close, and we'll start with Dirga Pranayama, or 3-part breath. Start to draw the breath in from the base of your belly. Slowly pull it up into your rib cage as your ribs expand left to right, front and back. And then keep pulling your breath up all the way into your heart space, up towards your collarbones. You might even feel kind of in the sternum lift a little bit. And then retrace your steps as you exhale, letting your shoulders drop, your sternum drop, your ribs move in, your belly soften. Again, inhale, belly, up to ribs, all the way up into your heart and collarbones. And as you exhale, soften out from collarbones and down to your ribs, back to the base of your belly. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale up. Exhale out. Inhale up. Exhale out. Take 2 more rounds at your own pace. Once you've completed your second round, soften the effort. Start to bring it back to a more natural rhythm, natural pattern, in and out through your nose. And palms either stay as they are, or you can find some sort of connection onto your torso. And allow yourself to set an intention that is personal to you. And as we flow tonight, use it as an anchor along with your breath. If you notice that you start to fall into worries, if you notice that you start to move off your mat into other parts of your to-do list, of your mind. Such is life, such is human. And so use whatever it is that grounds you back down to come back, to begin again, and to refocus. And gently release your palms down if you have them lifted, and transition all the way down onto your back. Again, have a block nearby and have a strap nearby. Come to a constructive rest once you arrive. So feet wide, knees knock in towards each other. And if you're using a block, you can set your block to the right side of your mat. And it's going to be about like the level of your hip, but a little bit further out. And so once you have that set up, let your arms rest down. Palms can face up, little external rotation of the upper arms. Let your knees knock in and then bring your awareness to your low back. Make any adjustments here with the hips. You might play around with hip points moving up and down, front and back, until you find a space where you can let go. Find a little bit more weight into your mat. And take a full breath in here. And out. One more. Gently walk your feet back to about hip width distance. Go ahead and take your right foot, so it's a little bit more towards the center, and then left knee hooks on top of right knee. So you've got an eagle wrap in your legs. Stay here with your foot down, or you might choose to hug your knees in toward your chest. You can hang onto your shins, onto your knees, stay in stillness, or you might start to take clockwise, had to think about that one for a second, clockwise movement in your knees. Finding little circles as you massage out through your low back. And if you're taking any movement, gently bring yourself back to neutral. Release your left foot back down to the ground. Flex into your right foot, start to send your right heel to the ceiling, and then you might adjust your left foot so the knee is more or less pointing up. Find your strap, bend into your knee enough that you can take the strap around the ball of your foot and then re-extend energy coming out the heel. So extending from the heel opposed to overextending at the knee. Take a moment to feel this space. And then start to slowly extend your left leg long. Activate through your left heel now, so you're really pressing to the front of the mat just as strongly as you're pressing to the ceiling. Stay here for another 2 cycles of breath, feeling those 2 movements. And then take both of the tails into your right hand, take your left hand onto your left hip for a bit of a support, and then nice and slow. So there's a control to this action. Start to take your right leg out to the right. And as it starts to drop, notice when that left hip starts to come up, and then maybe that's the point where you want to hang tight and stay. If it's possible, you might start to reach open and find that nice support of the block if you have it there. And then if the block's getting in your way, you can ditch the block and bring your right foot all the way out to the side. So wherever you are, wanting to feel an opening on the inside line of the right leg without any strain. And stay here for another 2 cycles of breath. At the base of your exhale, engage through your center. So kind of pull in on that navel, find some support in the low back so you can bring your leg back up to center. Rebend into your left knee, sole of your foot to the ground, and then you can scooch your hips just a little bit over to the right. Re-extend through your left leg, and then option to find your block, send it off to the left side of your mat. Same thing, we're gonna bring it about hip width distance. And then slowly start to take your right leg across your body. You can bring the strap into your left hand. And so now starting to bring your foot towards the left, maybe you find the strap, maybe you find the block, maybe you find the floor. So wherever your leg goes, looking now to draw the awareness into the outer line of your right hip. Right arm might come out to a T, it might come into a cactus. So take your time to breathe here. Engage through your center, slowly start to bring your leg back up to neutral. Rebend into your left foot, bring your hips to about square, and then turn your right toes out to the right. So you've got a little external rotation in the hip socket. Bend into your right knee, bring your right ankle to left thigh. And then you can release the strap and press your hand gently into your thigh as you press your knee away. So really not pressing to go further than our bodies want. However, giving ourselves some traction, some feedback. Option to stay right here and breathe, or you might start to hug your left knee in, interlace behind your left thigh. And maybe the left heel starts to extend. Deep breath in. And out. And 2 more. Rebend into your left knee, bring the sole of your foot back down to the ground, release your right foot back down to the ground. Walk your feet a little bit forward, take your knees a little bit wider, cactus or T into your arms, and then a couple windshield wipers here from left to right. You might stay a little longer on one side or the other, just taking a time to find some movement. Start to bring your knees back to center. This time, walk your left foot in a little bit more towards midline. Take your left knee on top of your right knee. Start off with that eagle wrap. Feet stay on the ground or knees hug in towards your chest, finding any connection with your legs. Stay here and breathe, or this time you'll take some counterclockwise circles. And slowly start to bring your knees back to neutral. Release your right foot down to the ground. Send your left heel to the sky. Adjust through your right knee so that's also reaching up. Relocate your strap. Again, take a nice bend into your knee so you can wrap the strap around the left foot, and then leg extends by pressing the heel out. Yep. Stay here for a minute and breathe. When you're ready, start to extend your right leg out, strongly pressing to the front of your mat just as much as you're pressing to the ceiling. And 2 more breaths. Both of the tails into your left hand, right hand to right hip. And with control, start to send your left leg over to the left. So again, you might find a stopping point using the strap for support. You might find your block. You might find the floor. Stay here and breathe. At the base of your next exhale, engage your center. Draw your left leg back up. And then grab onto your strap with your right hand. Option to take your block first, if you'd like, to the outside right hip. And then left arm reaches long to the side. Start to take your left leg over to the right. So find the twist. Again, if you want to adjust, we did an adjustment on the other side. So if you want to play around with the adjustment of your hips and see how that affects the twist and your connection of your shoulders, take your time to find that. Once more, gently start to bring your left leg all the way back up to center. Bend into your right knee, sole of the foot to the ground, and then start to turn your left toes out to the left slightly. Bend into your left nose, no, your left knee. There you go. So you can place the ankle to thigh, release the bind, and then for a moment, just find that gentle traction. So find the feedback of your left hip. Option to stay as you are, or you might start to draw the right knee in. And right heel might start to extend. Wherever you are, 2 more cycles of breath. Rebend into your right leg. Sole of your foot down to the ground, release the bind, bring your left foot down to meet it. Last time, arms to a cactus or a T, feet a little bit wider, start to take a gentle rock from one side to the other. The next time that your knees drop down to the right, allow them to stay there in a twisted root variation of the twist. Gaze to the ceiling, or you might this time start to turn your gaze over your left elbow or left fingers. Full breath in. And out. One more cycle of breath in. And exhale completely. Gaze to the ceiling, knees back to neutral. And then as you exhale, start to take your knees to the left as you send your gaze to the right. Deep breath in, let your ribs expand. And full breath out. Once more. Knees to center, gaze to center, full breath in at neutral. And exhale, optional sigh. Bring your knees in towards your chest, take some rolls, take some circles. And so those are the shapes that we're going to play with for the rest of the practice. Those 3 shapes, the Gomukhasana legs, the figure 4, and the extension. So we'll see those in a couple different variations. Start to bring your knees back to center and then rock and roll your way forward and back until you come all the way to crisscross and then transition right away onto hands and knees. Once you find yourself into your tabletop, stack up through your fingers, press down into your hands to find your mat, press down into the tops of your feet to find the mat, and then send your tailbone back, send your crown forward, light drop down into cow, and then exhale, round it up into cat. Take a couple more here, drop down, slight gaze forward. Exhale as you find your round. Come back to a neutral spine, tuck your toes underneath, take a shortened down dog. So send your hips up and back, keep a generous bend into your knees. And just as we sent the heels up to lift the legs, this time send your heels up and that's gonna find the extension of your legs. So press the hips up to the ceiling, press the palms down to the ground, press the heels down to the ground. And then imagine that you can send your gaze a little bit forward, but not by shifting your eyeballs, but by lifting your hips. So finding a bit of a triangle here, moving in all directions. Take another deep breath in. And out. Gaze to the front of your mat, walk yourself all the way forward, forward fold. Take a moment to find a ragdoll, maybe you sway, let your head get nice and heavy here. Inhale, hands up to your shins for the half lift. Exhale, palms back down. Once more, inhale, hands to shins. Bring your hands to your hips, big bend into your knees. Use the ground to press down, rise up, Tadasana. Nice. Inhale, take your arms up and overhead. Exhale, right away, interlace your hands behind you, press your palms down, lift your torso up. Big bend into the knee, torso to thighs, and then lift your head, lift your hands up, lift your hips up, send your head down. Full breath in. And out. Release your palms down to the ground. Take a big step back with your left foot. Drop your left knee, untuck your toes. Press down, rise up. And as you exhale, we'll take it right back down. Tuck your left toes, lift your knees, step back to high plank. Right away, up and back, downward facing dog. Step your left foot a little bit more towards center. And as you inhale, send your right leg up and back. Exhale, roll forward, draw your knee towards your nose. And as you inhale, re-extend. Exhale, step your right foot through between your hands. Start to pivot to the long edge of your mat. Bend right away into your left knee. Bend right away into your right knee. Take it back to the left. This time, pivot to the front of your mat, low runner's lunge. Step your left foot forward, but hug your knee in towards your butt. Nice. Take a full breath in. And then release your left foot back down to the ground. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale, refold. Inhale, half lift. Hands to hips, generous bend. Press down, rise up, Tadasana. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, opposite finger finds the top. Press down, lift through your heart. Big bend into your knees. Hips to the ceiling, head to the floor. Full breath in. And out. Release your hands back down to the ground. Big step back with the right foot this time. Drop your knee, untuck your toes. Press down to lift up. Exhale, palms to the ground. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, step back to high plank. Send your hips up and back, down dog. Right foot steps to the center slightly. Left leg lifts high. Exhale, roll forward, knee to nose. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, left foot to center. Pivot to the long edge of your mat. Right away, take the bend in the right knee. Back to the left. Swivel to the back. And then start to send yourself to the front of your mat, low runner's lunge. Step your right foot in, but your heel lifts towards your butt. Full breath in. Exhale, right foot down to meet the left. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Hands to hips, bend your knees, press down, rise up, Tadasana. Inhale, arms up. This time as you exhale, take it forward. Inhale to your half lift. Palms to the ground, left foot steps back. Start to pivot to the long edge of your mat again. Send your hip points back, walk your palms forward onto the floor or blocks, and then let your heart melt down as you send your hips up and back. Breathe into your hamstrings. Take your right hand a little bit more towards center. Take your left arm and find a little bit of a thread the needle. So left hand connects somewhere onto your right leg. And then take a micro bend into your left knee and see if that gives you a little bit more twist to the right. Full breath in. And out. One more inhale. And exhale. Gently re-extend your leg. Send both of your arms out in front of you. And then start to pivot to your back left foot. Step your left foot back so it crisscrosses in front of your right. So now you've got like a crisscross down dog. Breathe into the outer lines of both hips. Continue to press your palms down to lift your hips high. Take another inhale. And exhale. Locate your right foot. So it might not be the one you think it is. Locate your right foot, unravel it from behind you, and step your right foot through between your hands. Nice. And then pivot to the long edge of your mat. So again, you've got a wide leg forward fold. Again, walk both of your hands forward, send your hips back, let your head get nice and low. Take a full breath in. And out. This time, walk your left hand a little bit more to center. Take your right hand, thread the needle, find the right hand connecting somewhere on your left leg. Start to find that twist, turn your gaze to the side, and then micro bend your right knee. So you're kind of shifting the weight a little bit into that right hip. See if that gives you a little more space, and then twist. Take another inhale. And exhale. One more. Re-extend through your leg, unravel your twist, and then start to walk yourself around. So this time you're walking to frame your left foot. Step your left foot again behind. So you've got right leg behind. Take another inhale. And exhale. Again, find your right foot one more time. Unravel your right foot so you're at the front of your mat. Step your left foot forward to meet it. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Inhale to your half lift. Hands to your hips, bend into your knees, press down, rise up, Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, find your fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, palms to the ground. This time, big step back with your right foot. Start to pivot to the long edge of your mat again. Wide leg forward fold. This time will take a bit more of a traditional fold. So as you exhale, hips back, head starts to get low. Crown of your head towards the floor or towards a block. Hands can line up with your toes. You might grab your ankles or you might grab your big toes. Yep. Take another inhale here. And exhale. Walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Start to pivot to the back of your mat. So you're framing your front right foot. Step your right foot to the back. So now right foot is in front of the left foot for that crisscross. Press down into your palms, lift your hips high, breathe into your outer hips. Big breath in. And out. Locate your left foot. Unravel your left foot, step it all the way to the front of your mat. This time, drop your right knee, untuck your toes. Press down, lift up, find a little space in the front of your hip. And again, exhale, hands to the ground. Tuck your right knee, lift your right leg, start to pivot to the long edge of your mat. Press your hips back, press your crown forward. And again, take a more traditional wide leg forward fold here. Perhaps this time, if your hands were underneath you, you might explore finding the edges of your ankles or your big toe. Another breath in. And out. One more. Press down into your palms, walk your hands underneath you, pivot to the front of your mat, framing your right foot. Drop that left knee, untuck the toes, press down, rise up. Think of pressing your left hip front forward a little bit, and then release your palms to the ground. Untuck your toes, lift your back leg, step your right foot in front of your left so you've got that crisscross again. Take another breath in. And out. Locate your left foot, unravel it to the front of your mat, followed by your right foot, Uttanasana. Heel toe your feet together, bend your knees, rise up, Utkatasana, chair pose. And then shift your weight into your left foot. We're gonna take the figure 4 first. So right ankle to left thigh. Yep. Send your sits bones down. Arms either stay up high, maybe they come to your heart. So whatever variation works for your upper body. Stay here for another breath in and out. Start to send your hips back. So like you're sending your butt back a little bit, that's going to cause you to fold forward. Just enough that you can take your left hand onto your left hip, take your right two big first and middle finger, grab your big toe. Yep, nice. And then press down into your left foot. As you press down into your left foot, start to hug your right knee up in towards your armpit. Yep, stay here and breathe, or start to extend your right leg long. Full breath in. And out. One more inhale. Exhale, we're gonna release your foot, but keep it lifted. Take both arms to the ceiling. One breath in. And then as you exhale, take a slow lower back down. Palms to your side, Tadasana. Yep. Heel toe your feet together. Bend your knees, rise up, Utkatasana. Interlace your hands behind you, palms down, heart lifts. Deep bend to your knees, torso to thighs, head to the floor, hips to the sky. Full breath in. And out. Release your palms to the ground. Step your right foot back, followed by your left, high plank. This time, shift forward with or without knees, lower to belly. Unravel to a back bend of your choice. Exhale, forehead down. Tuck your toes underneath, send your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Full breath in. And out. One more. Bend your knees, look forward, make your way to the front of the mat. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale as you refold. Once more, heel toe together. Bend your knees, rise up, Utkatasana. This time, right leg's the base. Start to take your left ankle to right knee. Find that figure four. Yep, arms stay high, arms come low. So whatever variation works. And then start to sit your hips a little lower. Yes. Stay here and breathe. And then really bring your awareness into your grounded foot. Think of moving in two directions. So as you send your hips forward, as you send your hips back, that might cause your torso to drop a little bit. Take your right hand to your right hip. Take your first and middle finger of your left hand. Go ahead and wrap them around that big toe. Yep. And then press down, unravel. Start to hug your left knee in towards your armpit. And then think of, just like you were pressing into your strap, press your left big toe into your fingers. That's going to find the extension. Nice. Take another inhale. Exhale. Here we go. Fire up into that left leg. Keep it lifted. Take both arms to the ceiling. And then nice slow lower all the way to the ground. Release your hands down, Tadasana. Heel toe your feet together, bend down, rise up for chair. Interlace opposite hand behind you, press down, lift up. And then nice drop as your torso comes down, your hands lift high, forward fold. Release your hands down to the ground. Step your left foot back, followed by your right. Shift forward, lower to the earth any way you'd like. Unravel to a back bend of your choice. Release your forehead down. Tuck your toes underneath, send your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Full breath in. And out. Once more. Bend your knees, look forward, make your way to the front of your mat. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale, fold. This time, press down, take your arms wide as you reach all the way up above you. Exhale, hands to your heart. Release Tadasana. So option to have one or two blocks. at the front of your mat, and you're gonna wanna more or less underneath your shoulders. Step your right foot back about halfway, ground down through your right foot, and keep your hips forward. So we're gonna prep for pyramid. Engage into your right quadricep, lightly draw your left hip back in space. Inhale to lift up through your torso. So see if you can find some space from the hips up and stability from the hips down. And then just like we did earlier, send your hips back, send your torso forward, bring your hands down onto your blocks. And then find that adjustment. So readjust, find a little bit more length. Option to stay here with a half lift variation, or you might start to bend into your elbows, taking a fold to any extent here. Hands down the blocks. Maybe you find your hands onto the floor. Nice. Take another inhale. And exhale. One more. Press your hands back down to whatever is beneath you. Walk them back up to a half lift. And then bend into your your left knee just enough to take your right foot a bit further back. So now you're in more of a low runner's lunge. Set your blocks off to the side, and then heel toe your left foot a little bit over to the right hand. Yep. Take your right knee and step your right knee behind your left knee. Come down to a seat so you have your eagle wrap legs. Yes. So I've got left leg on top of right leg. Inhale your arms out to a T. And then right elbow crisscrosses over left, single or double wrap. Always the option to bring yourself up onto a blanket here as well. So take your time to set up. Press your elbows forward and up. And then we'll start to take some circles to the right. So you can take 3 big circles with your arms. Breathing into your shoulders, breathing into your upper back. And once you complete your 3rd circle, unravel your arms back to a T. Right arm to the ground, left arm will take a lift up and over. And then inhale yourself back to neutral. Start to bring both of your hands over to the right. And so here's where, again, finding our left foot, finding our right foot. This is gonna get a little twisty-turvy. So start to press down enough that you can unravel yourself. So you're facing the back of your mat, but you're in like this short and wide leg forward fold. Yep. And then let your torso drop down. Take your right hand to your left leg. Take your left hand to your right leg. And then take a super deep bend into your knees. So you're creating this squat position. Send your butt back, send your crown forward a little bit. And then eagle wrap your arms. So you've got left arm on top. Just as much as you press your butt back, start to press your palms forward. Press into the ground. That's going to start to lift you all the way up to the sky. Start to straighten through your legs. Lift your elbows up and back. And then exhale your hands to neutral. Take a big sweep of your arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale your hands back down to heart center. And then step your feet in back underneath your hips. Release your palms down, Tadasana, facing the back of your mat. Inhale, take a lift up. Exhale, find your fold. Inhale, half lift. Palms to the ground, take a step back with your right foot, pivot all the way around so you're facing the front of your mat once more. And then step your back foot to meet the front, Uttanasana. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale, hands to hips, bend your knees, press down, rise up, Tadasana, mountain pose. This time, step your left foot back about halfway down your mat. Feet are about hip width distance. Hands come onto your hips, lift up through your torso, and start to move in 2 directions. Palms either find the blocks, palms find the floor. And so before you go anywhere, stop at about halfway. Continue to draw your right hip back a little bit so you can feel some opening in the outer line of that hip. Plug down into your feet, and then option to stay right here. If at any point you want to start to take the fold, you can start to gently fold over your extended right leg. Nice. Full breath in. And out. One more. Re-ground into whatever's beneath you. Start to lift your torso up. Gentle bend to the right knee, just enough to step your left foot all the way to the back of your mat. Set your blocks off to the side, palms to the ground, and then walk your right foot slightly over to the left. Take your left foot behind you, come to sit down in a crisscross leg. This time, a right knee will be on top of left knee. Yep. Extend your arms out wide into a T, left arm over right, single or double wrap for eagle. Elbows press forward and up. And then start to find some gentle circles over to the left for 3, 2, and 1. Bring your elbows back to neutral. Expand your arms wide into a T, left palm to the ground, right arm takes one lift up and over. And then inhale back to center. Release your palms to the ground. This time, bring both of your hands out to the left side. Plug down into your feet enough that you can unravel yourself so you're facing the back of your mat in that micro little wide leg forward fold. And then let your torso get nice and heavy. This time, take your left arm to right arm to left. Bend down into your knees super deep. Single or double wrap with your arms. So again, you've got that squat and the eagle wrap. Send your butt back, send your palms forward. So by moving in those two directions and firm press down to the floor, you start to extend all the way up. Lightly lift your arms up and back. And then as you unravel, take a big sweep, palms connect high above you. Exhale your hands to your heart and release down. Step your feet underneath your hips for mountain pose. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale to your half lift. Palms to the ground, step your left foot back, pivot all the way around to frame your front foot at the front of your mat. This time, step your front foot to meet your back foot, high plank. Shift forward, vinyasa of your choice, and we'll all meet in downward facing dog. Full breath in. And out. Release your knees down to the ground. Untuck your toes. Sit yourself back for child's pose. Maybe you take your knees a bit wider. Forehead down to the floor, forehead down to a block. And breathe. So let go of all the twisting, the turning, the contraction, the extensions. And start to find your focus, find your gaze back inward. And notice how after all the organized chaos, you can still come back to your breath. You can still come back to the expansion of your ribs as you breathe in. And that contraction as everything moves back towards your midline as you breathe out. One more. Press into your palms enough that you can take your hands to the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Keep sending your left hip point down so you can really breathe into your left side rib cage. Option to take your right hand, sweep it around behind you. And I like to take the back of my hand to my sacrum, or you might take your hand towards a half bind towards your left hip. Take 3 more breaths into your left side ribs, your left side shoulder. If you have the half bind, unravel your right arm nice and slow. Take it back to the front of your mat and then walk yourself back out. Take a pause at neutral. And then gently take your arms to the upper left-hand corner. Draw slightly back on your right hip, create a little more space in your right side ribs. Once more, you might stay here. This time, slowly take the left arm back. Either the top of your hand connects to your sacrum, or you might find a half bind somewhere over towards your right hip. And 3 rounds of breath. If you have the bind, find a gentle unraveling. And bring both of your arms back to neutral. Full breath in at center. This time, feel free to exhale with a sigh. Press down into your palms, and as you do, start to roll yourself up with a cat spine. Bring your shoulders just past your wrists. Tuck your toes underneath and press back with a little bit of a cat spine. Again, inhale, roll forward, find the arch. And as you exhale, send your hips back. Once more, inhale, finding that little ebb and flow forward and back. Exhale. Bring yourself back to neutral. Crisscross your ankles. Come back to a seat. And find your way all the way back down onto the ground. Once you arrive, bend into your knees. Perhaps you come to constructive rest as you did at the beginning of class. And just take a moment to feel the weight of your body back down onto the ground. It almost feels like if you shook a snow globe or something. I feel like there was a lot of twisting and turning and left and right, and now it's just lying down. Just taking a moment to rest, to let go of what's happening in front and back, left and right, up and down, and coming back to center, back to a place of support. So we'll move through one more variation of a twist. You're welcome to take a twist that you like, or if you like, we're going to work with an extension and a bind. And so slowly start to work your feet back to neutral. If you have a strap, you can grab your strap. And then I like to, again, send my hips a little bit to the right and extend your left leg long. Wrap the strap around the ball of your right foot and extend your heel to the ceiling. Slowly start to take your strap over to the left. So similar to what we did earlier. So you might take that same twist. Right foot can rest onto a block. You can hang onto the strap. Maybe now you grab your big toe. You can play around with that too, grabbing the big toe with your left hand and take your right arm out to the side. So option to stay here as you did earlier. If you want, you can play around with bending into your left knee and taking your right hand down towards your left foot for cat pulling its tail. And so finding the bind, not finding the bind, letting yourself come into whatever variation of this twist works best for your body right now. Two more breaths. If you have your left foot, very gently release. Start to re-extend through your left leg, re-extend through your right arm. Engage through your core, support your low back as you bring your right leg all the way back up to center. Bend into your knee, release your strap, and then release your right foot to the ground. And bring your left foot to meet it as you square off through your hips. Take a full breath in at neutral. And exhale out. Option to shift your hips, this time slightly to the left. Extend your right leg long. Wrap the strap around the ball of your left foot. And as you extend, send your heel to the ceiling. Stay here and breathe. You might start to take your left foot over to the right. Again, option to take the twist that we did when we started. Maybe your foot finds a block. Stay here and breathe. Or this time you might start to play with bending into your right knee. Left hand reaches down towards your right ankle or your right foot. And finding the bind, finding the twist here. So both finding extension, but also finding connection. And 2 more breaths. If you have your right foot, very gently release. Send your right leg long. Send your left arm long. When you're ready, engage through your center. Start to bring your left foot back up to the sky. Rebend into your left knee, strap to the floor, foot to the floor. Right foot to meet it, square off through your hips. Full breath at neutral. Exhale with a sigh. If there's anything else that you'd like to take in forms of shapes, of movement, please feel free to do so. If you'd like to close your practice in a constructive rest, you can take that. If you prefer Shavasana, and start to move in that direction with any support. And perhaps you close in an upright seat. Again, taking any support needed. And so take your time to set up. Take your time to find what will give you comfort. And once you find that space, again, take a conscious, full, expansive breath from the base of your belly, moving through the full capacity of your ribs, of your lungs, all the way up into your heart and your collarbones. And as you exhale, let everything soften down. Let everything come back to center. Give yourself this time to rest. Very gently bring your awareness back into the inhale and exhale. And come back into that feeling of the rise and fall of your ribs, of your chest. And then take a conscious breath from the base of your spine up to the crown of your head, feeling a little bit longer through your vertebrae. And then at the very peak, softly part through your lips as you exhale everything out with a sigh. Once more, allow your palms to find a connection onto your torso somewhere. Coming back into the stillness that you've created. And coming back into this center space. And acknowledging your ability to just be, if only for a minute. And thank you for moving through the ebbs and the flows. Thank you for moving through the cycles, the circles, the confusion, the clarity. Thanks for being part of this wild ride, all of us together. Namaste.